there's a growing food fight over the safety and transparency of genetically modified grains in what we eat. While some genetically altered seeds and plants have been consumed here in the U.S. for years, other countries ban so-called GMO foods, despite increasing demand for more efficient and drought-resistant crops. Jane Wells has more on this controversy.
A multi-billion-dollar industry is based on a kernel of controversy.
We need to feed 9 billion people in this world. We need to do that on less land.
American agriculture depends on genetically modified seeds. For 17 years, they've allowed farmers to grow more with less, credited with saving farmers during last year's drought. But so-called GMO seeds are banned in parts of Europe, and they face a growing protest movement in the U.S.
With all the chemicals and things in your food, do we need something else that we're not sure about, you know?
I think it's a basic right to know what you put in your mouth and your body.
In all of the years of genetically modified foods, there's still not a single documented case of harm to any human or animal from their consumption.
And so you can see how the leaves are beginning to burn.
Scientists who work for seed giants are starting to speak out.
What worries me the most is when we restrict access to technologies that are actually planet preserving.
At Pioneer, owned by DuPont, research fellow Renee Lafitte is testing 200 new genetic traits for drought-tolerant corn.
I, as a consumer, am much more worried about excessive use of pesticides, about excessive use of fresh water. And so those, to me, are greater environmental concerns and even health concerns around agriculture than are GMOs.
The biggest player and the biggest target is Monsanto, where seeds were a $10 billion business last year. Marches have been organized against the St. Louis company. Unapproved Monsanto GMO wheat recently showed up in a farm in Oregon under what the company calls suspicious circumstances. Yet Monsanto's chief technology officer just won the World Food Prize for pioneering work with GMO soybeans.
It's time for a new, fresh conversation around that balancing act between the demand for food and the tools and technologies that we use to meet that demand.
But farming and politics don't always mix. 8 countries in Europe have banned GMO products, but Brazil and Argentina are embracing them, and China has just approved Monsanto's new GMO soybean seeds. Still, many American consumers are skeptical. Several states are passing measures to label GMO foods, even though such a law failed in California. Ken Onedo switched to GMO corn 2 years ago to cut down spraying near conventional tomatoes and wine grapes.
Well, we're still spraying, we're spraying with Roundup, but instead of using chemicals that were a little bit harsher on the environment, harsher on our people, we're able to use a little softer materials and safer stuff.
But if labeling happens and he can't sell his corn, Onedo says he'll have to switch back. For Nightly Business Report, Jane Wells, Woodland, California.